Observation, Mayor. It seemed like the people who spoke from the golf course from Cypress Head were not timed. It seemed to me that the people who spoke from the golf course from Cypress Head community were not timed, and I really lost part of my time.
But part of it, I wasn't in charge.
Okay.
You have the clock.
I understand the people from the golf course not wanting flooding in their neighborhood, because my neighborhood's been flooded repeatedly, and we'd like it done right too, and it wasn't done right.
Diane?
Yes.
Who are
That's
you?
for an intro.
Pardon me?
Who are you?
Introduction.
Oh, Dianne Gardner, 618 Ruth Street.
Thank you.
Here's how I think we got here. Ken Parker and the council determined a flood mitigation project was necessary to keep Dunlawton open in rain events like the one of May 2009. Andrew Giannini, back on May 18th, 2010, assured Ken Parker that he could design that and it would happen, and it would keep Dunlawton open. He told that to Dennis Kennedy. Okay? Their plan to stop the flooding involves several components, including an 810-foot earthen berm, retention ponds, and hands pumping in a weir gate. What I think happened is because there was a late complaint late in the process from Mrs. Grubbs, Gwen McDonald, the city realized it had failed to resolve a right-of-way issue that abutted the area where the berm was to be built. At this point, the city was under the gun to close out the project and receive the grant monies. It's here that, in my opinion, the narrative began to change, and new engineering rationales for deleting the berm and its lack of its effectiveness began to be discussed. There's lots of emails to that effect. I've got them. And what was to be considered to be central to the project was a permit. It wasn't a permit issued by St. John's, and the structural means that would keep the Halifax Canal from overtopping its banks and flooding Dunlawton was abandoned. To quote Andrew Giannini in his letter to Manager Harden dated 10/15/14, and that was after a letter from my husband to you asking about a deleted berm, which we knew nothing about. He says these two issues were discussed with the city project manager, and it was decided to remove the berm from the contract due to the minimal benefit and in order to avoid possible litigation by Mrs. Grubbs. Now St. John's is writing the project was not completed in accordance with the authorized design information. Therefore, the structure must be completed or the permit must be modified to incorporate the design alteration. I guess my question would be, was the engineering bad then or is it bad now? It's a reasonable question. Mr. Blaze, on April 14th, in his letter to the manager about the St. John's letter, states that the city wants the berm built, but the ROW issue in front of Mrs. Grubbs' property still needs to be addressed. The letter does not repeat any discussion about the berm not being affected or causing problems up and downstream from us. I think that omission is telling. The project was engineered with the berm in place and permitted with the berm in place. The berm would have worked. As Mr. Rosar identified this, Paul was the one really who identified it first. And it needs to be built. And if I see the city made a business decision, we ran out of time to resolve the right-of-way issues, get the berm built, and get the grant money. So we deleted the berm, and the revision of history began. That's the way I'm seeing this. The council has been in the dark about this berm from the beginning. You didn't even know it existed. We didn't. Its initial rationale and any understanding about how or why it was deleted. And now that St. John's is involved, and they are involved only due to the efforts of concerned citizens, Mike Gardner's research, I'm sorry, it's true. Okay, there's a concerted effort to make this go away. Another simple administrative fix, another cure. Mr. Blaze states in his letter that resolving this is a simple process and can be completed immediately upon your direction to do this. He calls it a minor deviation. 810-foot earthen berm? I don't think so. This is not a minor deviation. Without this berm, Dunlawton will continue to flood. My neighborhood floods. It's not potential flooding like they have at the golf course. My neighborhood's flooded 4 times in 20 years. Okay. Please, members of council, do your due diligence. We need a workshop. I think that's an excellent idea. This berm was the only component that would keep Dunlawton from flooding. The other components of this project are secondary and cannot stand alone. As you know, they could not stand alone because Dunlawton flooded 9/24. You were there, Scott. You were at my house. You know what it looked like. Bob came over and waited around. Don came over and waited around. My 92-year-old mother was trapped in her house, and she'd just come home from the hospital.
Bring closure to it, please.
All right, please. We need a workshop on this. Don't vote for this tonight. Don't just move this on down the road.
No, the workshop's already approved.
All right, thank you. Thanks for your attention.